So this is it. Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, the 28th of February, 2022, and I'm starting a very basic sessions of getting to know how to operate in the sphere of computers, and we're going to be starting with the basics. I'm going to be covering a lot of topics. The reason why I want to do this series, and I know a lot of you already got the knowledge, but the reason why I want to get people to start from the beginning, it could be a little bit of a refreshment course. That's number one. And number two is there are certain things that constantly are popping up online. There are things that are new, that are becoming bigger. You might have questions that you would like to have answered. Keep in mind that I do not know it all, okay? As shocking as it sounds, I really do not know it all. But if I can, then I'll help you out. If I can't, and there's enough interest, we can definitely get someone who can do a more detailed session on what we need to know, what we need to get educated on. I'm going to be kicking off this whole session with introduction to why do I feel that it's so important to actually get the knowledge. Based on the experience over the last, I would say, 3-4 years with Global Digital Cooperative, Yellow Trading Coin, and there is so much more that is happening right now, and we can really learn by the experience. And I think what a lot of people are missing, they're missing the experience of learning and the experience of getting knowledge and being wiser. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's to me, Yellow Trading Coin was like brilliant idea, which was introduced by someone that I trusted. It was something that you know, we always believe that it will happen to the end, and guess what? It just bombed out. A lot of people will say that I'm the most negative person. I'm not. It's just over the last 2 years, I became a serious realist because I was doing a lot of digging. After making enough noise, which was met with a lot of disrespect from the powers to be, with threats coming my way, and which we all know how it ended, hence me being expelled. So I'm not a woman's scorn. Okay, just let us get it out on the table. I never wanted to shut the place down. All what I wanted was that the cooperative will be run as a co-op, that what we were told about Yellow Trading Coin would actually happen. So that was my aim in life at the time. Over the last two years, I've done a lot of digging on my own, and there are things which are just not happening as they should be, and we all need to be aware of it. So please, if you've got some details that you would like to share, if you know something, that please share with us. And you know, a lot of you is going to be looking at me that I ask people to do certain things. For argument's sake, if you've got a question, and keep in mind that Miltos and we got expelled from GDC. So officially, we've got no access to information coming from the Global Digital Co-op. So when I'm turning around and I'm saying, please guys, be nice, write an email to legal@gdc.coop. I'm not being ugly. I'm not being vicious. All what I'm saying is write it, because that's going to give us a track record of us trying to have a conversation with the Global Digital Cooperative, us trying to have a conversation and trying this monologue going for them to take notice of what we want. Okay, so this is where we are. So I'm not saying, please will you write an email to Global Digital Cooperative for their inbox to be filled up. It's for us to have a track record, because trust me, when it's going to come to a crunch, every single bit of proof that we tried will be helpful. And that's the reality of it. Okay. So don't look at me. And we know that to get an answer from GDC, our chances are most probably 1%, but we need to build up a track record. So this is why I'm asking people to write their emails to legal@gdc.coop. The next lot that I'm going to be doing a comparison is between Yellow Trading Coin and Zoidpay. In an early days, I was always saying to the guys, we taught by the experience of our first ICO, first birth, and the process of cryptocurrency being put into action. Zoidpay was a really good comparison. And to me, it was always invest something because you're paying the school fees. Because this is how we were told what would happen with Yellow Trading Coin, and this is what actually happened. And this is what a totally different company is telling us what will happen. This is the plan that they have, and this is the process that they're going through. And that way, you know, if you would sign up with Zoidpay, if you started trading with Zoidpay, you actually would be gaining experience on the different trading platforms. You would be introduced to DeFi system. You would be introduced to different wallets. And right now, it's a serious educational about bridging. It's about transferring coins from one system, which is Tomo Chain, into another system. So it's like this, you almost being forced to get the knowledge. And like I said, we don't know it all. To me, it's absolutely flabbergasting. I'm drowning in a lot of ways because I'm watching how the Zoidpay team is constantly publishing something on Twitter. So on Twitter, all what I really have to do is take this message and pass it on. I can retweet it with a comment. But this is the first big difference that comes between the two companies. GDC hardly ever posts something of marketing value that we can share with the market and create interest and create almost a hype about their company. There is a lot of marketing material that is coming from a different city directors or from new partners currently, but there is nothing official that the Global Digital Cooperative is putting out as a company, which the Zoidpay team is doing so incredibly well. And they figured out that the first social media that they really want to get involved is Twitter, because I'm watching them on Facebook, I'm watching them on Instagram as well. So, and on Twitter, they just got this whole thing going. They know how to use hashtags. They know how to tag people. So the interest is being created and shared. So the results of Zoidpay is a Hyperion Italian will most probably be nice enough to post the latest selling price of Zoidpay coin. But from the experience, what I can tell you is they actually went from Hotbit into Elrod trading platform, and over a period of a week, they actually double in price. So if you're just going to give me a second, you see, I'm just going to be checking up here on the price of Zoidpay. So I will not be lying to you. And while they're doing all of this, it's almost like this constant learning curve, because you've got to go out and you've got to learn. Now, what's so new and what's so fantastic about, shall we say, the metaverse? What is so great about what's the wallet name? The things that I've got to remember. Maya, M-A-I-A-R. So it's a little, I'm just going to show it to you right here. I don't know if you can see it, the blue thingy at the bottom. okay? And what I'm saying is that it's this constant education. What is good about this is that we need to take responsibility for our investment. We, if we're going to do something, we're holding the money, we want to reap the rewards. And therefore, unfortunately, we need to get educated how to do it the best that we possibly can. So just to show you, I don't know if you can see, okay, there you go. If you're going to see this, you can see that Zoidpay currently is trading at 26.51 American cents. So it's 0.2651 American dollars. And when you're going to take it from the trading perspective, because this is how a lot of people are making money nowadays. They buy cheap, they sell expensive, and they seriously watch the trends, and they watching how things dropping, how they're rising, how they increases in price. And you might think that it's like, what's a big deal? But just think about it. If you invest into Zoidpay and you would be tracking it down, okay, so you see, oops, sorry. So you see those little candles that are coming up and down and the trading marks and whatever else. And you've got a little bit of balls and you're going to start trading. There's always money to be made. The thing about trade, when you're going to get into this, please, you need to read on the platforms about the fees, how quickly the transactions are being done, what the prices are, because between different exchanges, there are different prices, which might be pretty much insignificant to a normal human being. But if you're going to see that, for argument's sake, there's a difference of price between one exchange platform and the other of 1 cent, which in Zoidpay case would be about 0.4%. Okay, it's not something to be sneezed at. So you need to know all of those things. And I'm saying I don't know it all, but I'm giving you the tips of slowly and surely to get educated. So when we meet up next time, we can actually have a discussion that this is what I find out. How does it actually work? This is what I'm doing, and it works incredibly well for me. Okay, and you've got to keep in mind that every single investor operates on a different platform. Some of us are long-term investors, some of us are short-term investors, and some of us are real speculants. What I mean by this is that there are some of us that we've got a pool of people that is being invested into something with a view of cashing in the next five years. To me, 5 years is a long-term plan. For you, it might be 3 years or 10 years. It really depends on your age. It depends on your financial status. Every single person would have a different plan. So you cannot, and I think we're living in times where we cannot just do that one size fits all. This is not how it works. And really, we need to get ourselves a little bit more individually orientated for us to start doing stuff to suit us and to suit our families, because we really need to look out for ourselves first. And people invest because of different things. They invest because of shall we say, sentiment. The people invest because of the promise of making quick buck. There are people who invest because they really appreciate the technology. So every single person has got a different reason for saving money. Getting back to saving money and long term, if you're going to be looking at, for argument's sake, stacking, which Zoidpay introduced, it's, to me, in a very simplistic form, is a savings account where I'm committing my Zoidpay that I purchased, that I will not be using it, but they're going to be lying somewhere for a period of time, being at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. And the longer you commit not to use your Zoidpay, the bigger percentages or interest you will be paid. So you are not being paid in fiat currency. You are being paid interest in a currency that you are stacking. So if you're going to be stacking, for argument's sake, Bitcoin, you're going to be paid in Bitcoin. If you're going to be stacking in Maya, you're going to be paid all of this in Maya coins. So every company that is doing this, they would have, most probably a lot of them, they do have stacking facilities where you can put money and deserve or get some interest from it. Which on a ZoidPay side, if you will put your ZoidPay, if you bought some ZoidPay, and you will commit that you will not use it for the next 6 months or 12 months, and I'm going to take the 12 months in as an example. You can stack your coins for 12 months and you will be getting 12% interest on whatever you put down. So if you're going to put minimum of 10,000 coins, you will actually get 120 ZoidPay every month paid. And I want you to do calculations for yourself. Something which the insurance brokers always hammered into our heads. It's called compound interest, which means is that you're going to be adding your interest that you received onto the invested amount. Okay? Because this is how you actually do make more money. Because you're earning interest on interest, and that can be done. So this is a little bit of a tip that I'm going to give to you. Again, you need to sort out your own financial status. Where are you and what are you prepared to do? And this is as much as I'm going to be saying about, shall we say, ZoidPay and Yellow Trading Coin and a bit of differences between them. So if you've got no questions about what I said so far, please will you press 0. If you do have a question and you would like to pick up a discussion on what I just said, that please will you press 1. And let us just wrap up this topic, because the next lot which I'm going to be talking about is the new hype word, which is metaverse. And I'm just going to do a very brief introduction to it. Okay, so I'm just waiting for 0s or 1s. If you guys would like to give me a sign off. Okay, so nothing. It looks like I'm going to have this evening of Beata catching up of 3 days of silence. That was my husband's punishment, not yours, guys. All right. Now what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about metaverse. This is the new thing, new hype word that is coming in. It's most probably a word that is being used more and more often to things that we already know, to things that we've already seen. Okay, and if you are a sci-fi fan, if you watch the movie Player Ready One, I think, let me just check. Okay, I don't remember. Ready Player One. Alternatively, if you haven't seen Matrix, which is such a brilliant example of metaverse. Okay, so let us have a look. How many of you actually have seen Matrix? I've seen a whole lot of them. I mean, I'm a sci-fi freak. So if you've seen Matrix, press 3 for me. If you haven't, press 5. And let me die in horror here. Okay. So if you haven't watched Matrix, I think it's a pretty, very heavy movie, but it's a really good example of metaverse in action. It's still being done on this scale where we see a lot of cables where they're physically connecting people like us, you know, with the cables to this alternative universe. But metaverse nowadays, and I think isolation and the COVID's got a lot to do with this, how we're going to be doing business in the future. Because I think over the last 2 years, people realized that not everyone has got to go to the office. I think a lot of companies realize that they can run online businesses very successfully, that they can have people working remotely. And over the last 2 years, I believe that people actually learned how to work remotely. I think that we learned how to really work on our own and how not to work from 8 to 5. But this is where this whole scenario is getting at. So metaverse, and I'm especially doing the direction towards the new cooperative that Miltos is proposing to open up. The reason for it is that Miltos to me is very much ahead of his times. So what he's doing, he is creating nothing else but a virtual shopping mall where people can go, and the interaction with the technology that is already available and that it will be available to us within the next couple of years, it's going to make it a totally different experience. It's going to make it an experience that instead of going shopping, we actually will be able to have an interaction with a salesperson, with having almost a feel and a smell. I mean, that's going to be just so cool. You know, like you would walk into a donut shop and you've got this smell coming out of your computer or whatever gadgets we're going to be wearing, of this freshly baked donuts with like strawberry jam inside, you know, with this drizzle of lemon, you know, sugar on top. You're going to be able not only to feel it with your hands, because that technology is already available, but you're going to be able to smell it as well. But for the time being, what Miltos is proposing is for us to have almost 3D interaction, either with the salesperson or with the product. And this is what metaverse is all about. You're going to be hearing this word more and more often. So if you really want to be successful with the new co-op that Miltos is creating, when he's going to be doing the introduction with his IT team, I sincerely hope that you will Google metaverse and read about this, at least get to know the basics, okay? Get to know the basics, because the moment when Miltos will open up the new new cooperative, the new shopping mall, the whole thing's gonna just go quickly, and you need to be prepped up. So the basics to the new mall that he's opening, the question was asked earlier. I believe Miltos is going to be starting only with one mall for the time being. It's going to be filled up first, and then it's going to be split either by languages, so it's going to be split by categories, so it's going to be split by countries. It really depends on the interest. But the idea behind this metaverse is that we can, on a computer, we can access this world that will show us much more detail about the products that we are buying, okay? So if, for argument's sake, someone would say, I would like to buy a phone, okay? Or I would like to buy a box, or I would like to, oh, there's a good example, okay? Let me just do some cheap marketing here. People are going to be going and buying business cards. Okay, this is Cardante. It's a business card. And if you haven't looked into this and you actually have got caught into this orbit scenario, I really hope that you're going to be reading up on Cardante and look at the costs involved and look what the Cardante can do for you and compare different products. But for argument's sake, someone walks into the mall and they need to buy and they need to order some business cards. So they would walk into the information center and they would say, I'd like to buy business cards. And you know, suddenly the list would appear. What do you want? Do you want to have them printed? Do you want to have virtual business cards? Or do you want to have a combination of both, a physical business card with the virtual card? And you would choose, and that way you would be directed to, shall we say, you would be directed to Cardante. So you would walk up the stairs, along the lines you would see different shops, and you would get to the Cardante store where you would actually have an interaction with a person, with a salesperson, being it in digital form, in physical form, whatever form it would be, but you would be able to interact almost like with a salesperson in a shop. And this is what it's all about. It would be either automated, or they would have almost online salespeople, which could be another thing. So you would be talking with a human being. It could be automated, where they would have a ready-made answers for the questions that you would be asking. And you would be really able to look at the card. For argument's sake, you would say, I would say, okay, so we've got this Cardante card right here. And you must probably can't see the light too well. But you know, that one is a red one, as you can see, but you can have the same card in blue, in gold, in metal, in different colors, in different textures. And you would physically be able to see this card, you know, from the side, how big it is, what's happening on the other side. And you would be able to physically see this. And this is just a simple business card, okay? And if you're going to take it one step further, how the medical facility will be turned upside down by this whole experience as well. Because over the last 2 years, we, well, most probably not so much in South Africa, but in Europe, it became a really big thing about having medical consultation over the telephone, alternatively having it online. So it's what this metaverse will do, will simply take it to the next level. Because I believe that within a certain period of time, we will be able to pass on the information about a heartbeat, about how much oxygen is flowing through our blood, or how do we do the blood tests. That technology is already available and we can do it online, which would make the conversation with a doctor online in a totally different sphere. And think about it. We don't have to sit, we don't have to leave the home. We could have a conversation just like the monologue I'm having with you guys right now. And we will take it to the next level. So the moment when Miltos will launch this whole metaverse, I really want you to get comfortable with this topic. I want you to look around, who do you do business with that would actually gain by this experience? And I'm going to tell you my own story. For argument's sake, I'm a business consultant, and I started consulting online quite some time ago. And it was purely done on a monetary and financial basis. Because sitting in Johannesburg, if I had a client in Cape Town, I would have to fly to Cape Town. So number one, it was cost involved and it was time involved. So in the good old days, me from the Stone Ages, I actually started consulting online. My Skype was my best friend. Why? Because I could still see the facial expression of the person, of my client sitting in Cape Town. We could still have a pretty much a free conversation. It was done at a suitable time that neither of us had to travel to get to the location for the meeting. We could simply switch on. So it's an incredible time saver. And if something happened, okay, then you were always available because you can do it from the comfort of your home, of your office, wherever it is. So I believe the metaverse itself will make us far more productive. And if we believe that not everything can be done online, I believe that most probably not everything, but a lot of things, even in today's age, can be done online. So to give you an example, we all want to go, okay, give me something that you would really like to buy, okay? Or for argument's sake, place where you would like to travel, or give me something, okay? So I can most probably wrap it in a more practical form. But I love to travel. So for argument's sake, over the couple of years of experience that I have, my husband and I, when we choose our flights, we are really looking for flights that are done on Airbus. We do not like the Boeing airplanes. We are always looking for Airbus. And the simple reason behind it is that we've got a little bit more legroom. Okay, and as you know, I'm not a small person, neither is my better half. So they claim to have extra 7 centimeters, and it doesn't seem like much. It's like, that much. It isn't really a lot. But in physical form, when you travel from Johannesburg and you fly to Frankfurt, for argument's sake, and you sit in this chair for 11 hours, the 7 centimeters, it makes the difference. So now suddenly, when I'm going to book a flight, okay, I can physically have a look, not at the chair that I'm going to be sitting at. It's not enough that I can have so much more information, because they most probably would have a picture of saying the back is so high, it's so wide, it's got arms that are so wide, it's so high from the floor, your next seat is so far away, or you can bend your chair a little bit for, so much. You can have all of this done in a graphic, but physically, someone can take the camera and actually show you physically what it looks like. And now take it further to everyone who sells something pretty online. Okay, and I'm talking about florists, pretty flowers. I'm talking about, I don't know, handbags, shoes. I'm a woman, okay? So you can't blame me for this. And suddenly I can actually, with the technology, because you already got the gloves, okay, and you've got the goggles where you can see them in 3D, you can touch them, you can actually have the sensory experience, and you can almost, okay, most probably going to be able to try them on and see how they feel on your feet as well, because I believe that the tech will be coming shortly like this. So this whole combination of us doing the shopping in a near future, what Miltos is presenting to us, he is almost giving us the glimpse of living in a future. To everyone who will be enticed by this technology, who will be enticed by introducing clients so they can show off their products or services in really a new way, more interactive way. The metaverse, the new co-op of Miltos, can be a solution to your client's problem. So the question usually pops up here, what's in it for me? Okay, what's in it for you? It's money. Because what's happening here is, for argument's sake, we will be introducing companies into the hypermall. So and they would be buying a store. Being a bigger, smaller, they would have most probably 5 products or 50 products, or, you know, the whole online supermarket, whatever suits them. And depending on this, they would be paying price. So someone who most probably will have 1 product and they would need a little store, they would be paying anything most probably in the range of 80 euros upwards for a year. And midterm, if we're going to take big stores like Pick and Pay in South Africa, or alternatively Aldi's or Kaufman in Europe, you know, you would be looking at bigger stores. They would be paying proportionally more. So if you will introduce the client, and I want you to be really very clear on it, and I'm going to be using 100 units as an example, okay? So for argument's sake, we're going to be selling something that it's worth 100 units, and the 100 units could be $100, 100 euros. I'm talking 100 euros. The company, okay, will take certain amount of profit, which will be agreed and written into a contract between the client and we're going to call it hypermall, or the metaverse. You as a person that introduced this client, you can make your way two ways. You can make money 2 ways. One, you can buy the advertising shops and at a discounted rate and sell them further down the line. Alternatively, you can introduce and you would be getting 20% of the profits that the company will make. So the profits are really dependable on the agreement that you as the middleman will strike between the metaverse and the physical client. If we clear so far, press 1 for me. I want you to be really clear on this. So if you're going to agree that, for argument's sake, the client will sell something at 100 units, but he is allowing only 10% profit margins, okay? So 10 units will stay with the company, and 90 units will be paid to the client. Out of this 10 units, okay, you will be paid 20%, which means 2 units on every single sale. This is when you introduce the client. So for as long as the client will advertise, you sign the client up for a year. So for the next year, you guaranteed 20% of the profits of the company profits, which means if the profits are 10 units, you will be getting 2 units from each sale. Now, to get even more wheels in motion, to spread even more wheels of about the client, every single item will have a special invitation link. So you being a member of this metaverse, you would have your own personal invitation link. And for argument's sake, we like tulips, okay? I would be sharing that, for argument, that someone in Holland is currently selling tulips, but the normal price is €1. They are selling it at 90 cents. I know that the agreement is on 10%, which means I would get most probably 1.5 cent coming to me every time when the guy sells a tulip, okay? I'm just giving you an example. Everything operates because Miltos talks about 20%. It's not 20% of the actual price, it's 20% of the profits of the company. And the profits of the company, it's an agreed amount between the actual hypermall and the client. And us, as we're sitting in the room, we nothing else but this middleman who is introducing our clients to a better sales experience. And that way, everyone takes a bit, okay? Someone who strikes the whole deal, puts the whole deal together, they will get the 20% of the profits for a period of a year. If me that really like the products and I'm going to share it, and someone will buy this product through my personal link, I will get another 20% of the profits that the company makes. So I really want you to be clear on that. If that makes sense to you, okay, then press 5 for me, because we need to know how we're going to be making money. So the bottom line is that when Meltos will start up with this whole universe of shopping online in really the 21st, 22nd century, and this is where we're all going. We might not like it, but unfortunately it will happen, and it's already happening. We cannot avoid this. It will go. So what we need to do, we need to do nothing else but go with the program, get educated, and start getting the feel for it. So number one, see, Milton's already shared the link to the hypermalt that he's got in Greek. Play around with this. Have a look how it feels. And the feel is totally different, because I've got experience of 2 countries between South Africa and in Europe, where in South Africa, the bandwidth speed, it's on the affordable side is pretty slow, where for argument's sake in Europe, 600 megabytes per second is something pretty normal, okay? And it's pretty affordable here as well. So the experience will be slightly different. What I mean by this, that in South Africa, you might experience slightly slower movements, and it might take you a little bit longer. But with time, the speed will increase, the bandwidth will increase, and you guys this whole process will be a little bit quicker, a little bit smoother. But what you will do, you will get the experience, and what you will have, you will become familiar on what is happening and how to deal with this, to give your clients a new thing. The next thing that it's being shown as well through all of those metaverse as well, the possibilities are endless. Okay, I was looking into new hotel rooms, how you can almost experience them in 3D, how big they are, which is absolutely amazing. Yes, you would need the goggles, you need the tech for it, but it suddenly just gives you a totally new meaning about booking something online. It gives you this feel of space that makes me as a client far more confident in parting with my money. And this, to me, it's really such a decisive factor. I think hospitality industry is going to be huge. I think any holiday, anything to do with holiday, with travel, with restaurants, gosh, I can just see this. I mean, you know, you can actually almost pre-order food because you would see it, what it looks like. I mean, excuse me, can you just imagine how the menu will pop up on your screen and you would say, well, you know, for argument's sake, I would like this, and this amazing ice cream would just visually pop up in front of you, where you can see every single detail of it, that it would have vanilla ice cream and strawberry and chocolate, and it would have some biscuits on it and whipped cream and, you know, chocolate sauce and fruits and whatever else. And just imagine that you can actually pre-order this. So when you physically would get to a restaurant, number one, everything is prepped up for you. The restaurant would be saving on wastage, because they know that they've got, shall we say, 50 tables, and table number 1 is filled up, and this is what they're ordering. And table number 2 is filled up, and this is what they're ordering. and they will be arriving on such a date, with a margin of very small error, the profitability of restaurant can increase dramatically. I mean, that's just what, and I've got nothing to do with restaurant business, okay? Really nothing, but I'm just thinking at the top of our heads how it can improve the profitability of the companies. You know, when any manufacturing business, people want to know, is this coming from the source? I mean, right now there's such a big drive about being ecologically friendly, about you know, maybe you like certain wines and you would like to see the winery, maybe you would like to see how the wine is actually produced, you would like to see the barrels, you would like to see how it's fermented, how it's being packaged, and suddenly this trust building experience with the supplier, it's really being taken to the next level. And as a consumer, I would be so much more comfortable, for argument's sake, really knowing where stuff is coming from, and ordering normal stuff online, like your bread, your butter. Just imagine that you would know that there is a farmer who produces butter, and he shows off his farm, his cows, how he milks them, the whole process, how it's being taken. And wouldn't that, I'm just thinking out loud here, it would definitely build a confidence for me to buy only a certain brand, because I've seen how it's made. I've seen, you know, it suits me. And I believe that the biggest thing about food wastage, we could really take it down, which would make us more ecological friendly. And by the end of the day, it's all boiling down to the technology available to living up in this metaverse. Okay, so this is me, 45 minutes for today about metaverse. So if you've got any questions, please will you press 4 for me? If you do not have any questions so far, just press 0 for me, and we will just wrap it up for today. Because if you're going to take anything else from tonight, because this is almost like this prep up, I'm doing a prep up session for you guys to get ready, not to get hyped up, but to get educated and get ready for Miltos's new shopping mall. Okay, new way of advertising, new way of doing business, new way for the companies to actually start making more money. And it can be as something as simple as, like I said, as ordering a Cordanti, because you can have a chat to the Cordanti distributor in your country, and they will say, yes, look, I do have, for argument's sake, only the red one in stock. I do not have the blue one. I don't have the green one. However, we can always get it for you. And this is the selection that is available through the mail order. But if you physically want to pick it up from me right now, this is what I have. It just, you know, to me, it just takes the distribution, it takes the production, it takes the consumer trust level to totally new heights. And I believe that we need to explore this horizon in seriously new way. And if you are involved in any type of other, most probably selling certain stuff, just imagine where you would be recording an interview with a client that you already have, and someone would, like me, would come in and say, oh, I would like to buy this from you, but do you have any references? And you would say, hold on a second, there's an interview with a client that I taped, shall we say, 2 months ago. All the client details you can actually check up with them, that it was not done under duress. And you could have the snippets. I think we're reaching a time when in this whole, due to lack of better words, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sound just like Miltos and swearing right now, with all the bullshit that is happening on social media, it's happening on the news, I think the confidence in buying a product will become a new norm. And what the metaverse and Milto's new hypermall is doing is giving us the ability to really create this confidence in how we're buying this. Okay, so this is as much for me. If you've got no questions whatsoever, we're going to go with 0, and I'm going to wrap it up for now. Okay, so from me to you, I'm going to start recording right now. I hope it gave you an idea. Read up on Metaverse, learn about this, have a look at the hypermall, that the experience that is being created. Keep in mind that this is the beginning. Okay, so we all need to just be a little bit patient with this and carry on with this. The other thing is, if you're interested in joining the new co-op of Milto's, please, there is a special Telegram group. It needs to be interactive. And currently, Milto's is looking for 2 things. One, what is important to you as the co-op member to be written almost in the constitution, in the white paper. Give us some suggestions, what is really important to you. It could be something really very simple. It could be something that is very complicated, but get interactive. So this is number 1. How do we put this whole cooperative black on white that we're all going to be happy with? So what's important to the members? The other thing is, it's what would you like to call the new cooperative? Before it's going to get named, let us come up with a couple of suggestions for Milto's, and everything can be obviously done through the Telegram group. And I hope you're going to get interactive on it. So from me to you, thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording.